Breaking news coming into CBS Sports HQ. The Jacksonville Jaguars have made the decision to release tight end Tim Tebow ahead of the 2021 season. Tebow taking to Twitter. We'll show you that shortly. But the former first-round pick drafted at quarterback, Tebow signed with the Jags in May to play for his former college coach in Urban Meyer. But because of his struggles at quarterback during his initial playing days, he made the switch to tight end to help spark an NFL career again. But that career is now over, at least with the Jaguars. Tebow taking to Twitter saying thank you to the Jags organization and everyone who has supported me in this journey. And we know that God works all things together for good. Let's welcome in Jonathan Jones with this latest breaking news on CBS Sports HQ. Tim Tebow out at Jacksonville. Are you surprised, JJ?
Well, not after seeing him in a game. Goodness gracious. I mean, he played a little bit more than a dozen snaps, and he did not look like a professional tight end out there. And, the clips went viral. At this point, everyone's seen it. My mom, who barely even watches preseason football, has seen it. He couldn't block, and he couldn't stick his helmet in there. And it was almost like he was apologizing to the Browns defenders when he was going to do it and said, you know what, I don't want to do it. And to play tight end in the NFL, it does involve blocking. When he was first rumored to potentially sign with the Jacksonville Jaguars, the only team out of 32 who would have signed him, and only signed him because Urban Meyer is the head coach and sort of runs that operation there, being handed the keys from Shad Khan, the owner. When he signed there, I was told, hey, it's a 50-50 shot. He's worked himself into fantastic shape. Yes, he's 34 years old. No, he's never played the position before. He's willing to learn. And, of course, he brings that grit, determination, and that sort of nebulous leadership and that culture that Urban Meyer wants and wanted in the locker room. And so all of those things, I said to myself, you know what? He's not going to be a polished tight end. But if he can be anywhere close to average and be the last guy on the depth chart, even the last guy on the practice squad in terms of talent, that he would still bring enough to that locker room that would justify his position on the roster. And that's what was in the eyes of Urban Meyer. Again, no other team would have taken a chance on Tim Tebow, would have given him a tryout, would have signed him, would have let him play in the first preseason game. This is the only team that was ever going to do it. This was a team that did. And after about 17 or so snaps, he had a catch that was stolen away from him by Tavon Austin when both of them were in the same exact spot on the field, which you should never really be if you're a pass catcher. And then two very, very poor blocks down at the goal line. The Tim Tebow experiment in Jacksonville is now over.
All right, I just want to confirm. So you said the experiment in Jacksonville is now over. JJ, are you saying that his NFL career has come to an end?
It should, Jenny. It should now be over. And I'll be honest, Jenny, there were a whole lot of jokes when he signed. And a lot of people said, this isn't fair. This isn't fair to the guy who should be having that roster spot. You've never cared about the 90th guy on an NFL roster ever before. So don't act like you now care about the 5th or 6th tight end that the Jags were going to sign that they ultimately would have cut. You don't care about any of the other tight ends who today are going to be cut as teams go from 90 to 85. So don't, when people were saying that a couple of months ago, that was ridiculous. Tim Tebow got his shot because of who the head coach was. And, when you are elite in any sort of profession, really in any world, but certainly in this society, the rules are different for you. That's just how it is. And you can go ahead and cry and say that life isn't fair, that Tim Tebow shouldn't have gotten a shot. When you're Tim Tebow, you get shots. That's how it goes. And stop wasting your energy complaining about it. Tim Tebow got his shot, and he failed. Now, to Tim Tebow, of course, he did not fail. And that failure may look like something, and he's going to build off of this. And he has had a fantastic life. He's going to certainly continue that and be a great steward of the community. No question about that. Probably get back into media. I think his baseball career is likely over. This should end Tim Tebow's football career as well. But he got the shot because of who he knows. We understand that. We have to accept that. You may not appreciate it. You may not respect it, but you have to understand it. And he went out there. He wasn't afraid of getting embarrassed. That's sort of the thing. He didn't care. He knows that those clips went viral. And he's not embarrassed by it because he's not afraid to get embarrassed. And that's what you have to have if you're going to be 34 years old, be out of the NFL for this long, switch positions. You're going to get embarrassed at some point. You can't be afraid of that. Tim Tebow never was. So I'm not going to sit here and applaud him for trying to do this. I think we all knew that it probably wasn't going to happen. And he needed to be very, very good, much better than we all expected someone with his traits to be at that position in order to lock on. But the experiment is over, Jenny. He's not going to be playing any more football. If he does, I'll come back on with you for more breaking news and be exasperated yet again.
No, I think it's interesting exactly kind of what you're going off of. Tebow took to Twitter. He said, "I never wanted to make a decision out of fear of failure, and I'm grateful for the chance to have pursued a dream." So it is exactly what you were saying. He wanted to go out there, see if he was capable of it, and he wasn't going to be scared to go out there and do that. Now, we all know Tebow for the man that he is. Given those leadership qualities that he has, could you see him pursuing a job maybe in coaching?
You know, that again is a difficult one. And it's hard because is it going to be handed to Tim Tebow? And now that's going to be difficult for a lot of coaches who have been grinding and 18 hours or 20 hours in the team facility and sleeping on the floor and getting paid $17,000 a year as a grad assistant and working their way up. And now Tim Tebow gets handed some sort of assistant coaching position. That would be hard for a lot of coaches and executives to swallow anywhere, be it in coaching or in the NFL. You do have to start somewhere. I don't know if the coaching lifestyle is something that Tim Tebow would want to do, whether it's in professional football or it's in college football and having to recruit constantly, et cetera, et cetera. You know, he does a lot, as we have mentioned, Jenny, of fantastic work with his charity and foundation. We know that he's had a successful career in media. It's a whole lot easier to be in media than be a coach, I can tell you. And so because of that, I would anticipate that Tim Tebow continues doing that and using his time and finding that his time is best well spent in those areas. So I would not anticipate Tim Tebow becoming any sort of coach at a high collegiate or professional level. And if he does, you know what I said earlier about being elite and being Tim Tebow. Sometimes the rules are different for you.
That's all right. Well, thank you so much for joining us here on CBS Sports HQ, JJ, with the breaking news. Tim Tebow getting released by the Jacksonville Jaguars. We knew that it was probably coming, but it actually has happened at this time. But hey, good for him for going out there and giving it his best bet. He said he was thankful for his highs and even the lows, the opportunities and the setbacks. Tebow tweeting out thanks to the Jags organization and everyone who has supported me in this journey.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.